Rewire your brain. You've heard that phrase, right? It's everywhere, on the covers of self-help books, inside meditation apps, all over the internet. And the idea is just so appealing. The thought that we can fundamentally change who we are with almost mechanical precision.
I mean, the promise is huge. It suggests that if we just find the right little technique, we can engineer a better version of ourselves. We can fix our anxiety, or boost our focus, or kick a bad habit, just like an electrician would fix a faulty circuit.
But is that actually true? Is our brain really just a bunch of wires that we can swap out and rearrange? Well, today we're going to dig into this popular metaphor and see what the science really has to say about it.
So first up, where did this whole idea of rewiring even come from? It's not just some modern buzzword. Turns out it has roots that go back more than 100 years.
The whole metaphor really started in the world of engineering. Way back in the early 20th century, scientists started comparing our nervous system to things like electrical wires and telegraphs. Then, a huge shift happened in the 1960s. Researchers discovered the brain wasn't this fixed, static thing. It was adaptable. This totally changed fields like stroke recovery. And if we fast forward to today, with amazing tech like fMRIs, we can literally see different parts of the brain light up as it works around an injury, which makes that rewiring idea feel more real than ever.
But, and this is the crucial point, while that metaphor is super powerful, and maybe even a little useful sometimes, it gets the fundamental nature of how our brains change completely wrong. It's a really compelling idea, but yeah, it's flawed.
See, the rewiring myth makes it sound all mechanical and neat, like it's precise, it's fast, and you can just replace a broken part. But the reality, what scientists call neuroplasticity, is biological. And you know what that means? It's messy. It's incredibly slow and happens in tiny little steps. And you're not replacing parts, you're just reshaping the paths that are already there.
So instead of a circuit board, a much better way to think about your brain is like a living forest. Every time you do something, you're walking a path. The more you walk it, the clearer that trail becomes. And the old paths you stop using, well, they get overgrown. You can't just snap your fingers and have a new super highway appear. You have to walk that new trail over and over and over again.
So if it's not rewiring, then what is actually going on inside our heads when we learn something new, or adapt, or try to heal?
The real term for it is neuroplasticity. It's the brain's absolutely incredible lifelong ability to reorganize itself, its structure, its function, the whole shebang. Now, this ability is at its peak when we're young, but it never completely goes away. The catch is, as we get older, making those changes becomes way more dependent on real, sustained effort. And this whole process isn't just about willpower. Oh no, neuroplasticity is shaped by dozens of different things. Our age, our environment, how stressed we are, what we eat, and of course, good old-fashioned repetition and practice. It's this really complex biological dance, not just a simple on-off switch.
Here's another key thing to remember. When we change a habit or heal from trauma, we're not erasing the old neural pathway. We're just building a new, stronger one next to it. But that old trail through the forest, it is still there. And this is exactly why old habits or trauma responses can suddenly pop back up when we're under a lot of stress. The brain just defaults to that old, well-worn path. This all shows the brain's true strategy. It's an expert at creating detours, not just fixing broken roads. Let me give you a couple of amazing real-world examples of this.
Okay, get this. In this fascinating experiment, a scientist wore special glasses that literally flipped his vision upside down. As you can imagine, at first it was total chaos. He couldn't do anything. But after a few weeks, his brain didn't fix what he was seeing. Instead, it adapted. It learned to see this bizarre, upside-down world as the new normal. And the craziest part? When he finally took the glasses off, his normal vision seemed wrong until his brain could adjust back again. It didn't rewire anything, it just built a brilliant workaround.
Or how about this one? Take famous singers like Elvis Presley and Ed Sheeran. Both of them struggled with stutters when they were just talking, but they could open their mouths and sing with perfect, beautiful fluency. So what gives? Well, it's because speaking and singing actually use different neural pathways in the brain.
In other words, their fluency didn't come from their brain repairing the speech circuit. Nope. It came from recruiting a totally different circuit, the singing circuit. The brain just found the clever detour, a bypass around the area that was causing the problem.
So why does any of this matter? Rewiring versus reshaping? Who cares, right? It's not just about using the right words. It has real-world consequences for how we think about change and healing.
This quote right here gets straight to the heart of the problem. When we're told that rewiring our brain is supposed to be simple, it sets up a pretty dangerous expectation.
Because if change is supposed to be as easy as flipping a switch, and you're still struggling, well, it's really easy to feel like you're a failure. The rewiring myth can turn healing into this moral test, and it totally ignores all the complex biological and environmental stuff that's actually at play. And honestly, that can be incredibly cruel.
A more honest view is actually a much more hopeful one. It tells us that yes, meaningful change is absolutely possible, for sure, but it's not a quick fix. It's a process that has to respect the limits of our own biology, and it requires patience, support, and maybe, most importantly, sustained effort over time.
So, let's just leave the mechanical metaphors behind. Our brain is not some broken machine that needs to be fixed. It's more like a living landscape, a garden that we get to cultivate. So the real question isn't about rewiring at all. It's about what we choose to nurture, day in and day out. What paths will you choose to walk?